Welcome back. In this session, we'll try to discuss how Nmap scanning works on Kali Linux. So, if there is a pen tester and target machine, and these machines are identified with their IP addresses in the network, and when the pen tester trying to scan the ports on the target machine, it sends a sign request. That means sign bit is set to 1 and request. Then it will get the reply from the target machine if the sign request is accepted by the target machine. So that reply gives in terms of the acknowledgement by following three handshake TCP three handshaking establishment process. And for this sign request, your target machine gives the acknowledgement and send a sign request. That means target machine is also ready to communicate with the or establishing a connection with pen tester. So by receiving this reply from target, the Nmap on this pen tester machine can either understands that the ports are open, the requested ports are open, right? And if the target the pen testers wants to continue the connection establishment, the target machine can send the acknowledgement packet to the this signed request which is sent by target. If not, then the pen tester sends the RST as a reply to this particular acknowledgement and a sign ACK. So that means informing the target that I don't want to establish a connection. If ACK packet goes from pen tester to target, means connection is going to be established, right? If the pen tester sends a sign request to target machine, but target machine, if that particular port is not enabled or open, or the application which is running on this particular port is not working, suppose, then it sends that I don't want to establish any connection. That is, this act is in response to your signed request and sending the packet, that RST packet is sending that I'm not ready to communicate with you. Why? Because the ports are closed. Is another way, right? So to do this, first the Nmap goes with the target, how to communicate with the target. One is it used the command, that Nmap command, Nmap, by giving the target IP addresses or target domain name. So there are different ways of Nmap target command execution. One is single IP command. So in single IP command, it follows Nmap with the single target IP address. So it is going to scan the ports only on a single machine. Or it can try to scan a entire subnet range, means all the hosts on that particular network. Or Nmap can do scanning, or scanning can works on IP ranges, only selected targets. That means in the Nmap discovery phase, if it finds only few targets are alive, then only those targets allows, or the range is given like 4 to 10, like that. If the targets are alive from fourth target, fifth target, sixth target, seventh, eighth and 10th targets are alive, then only this IP range is given for the port scanning. Another one is specific IPs. In specific IPs, as we in the discovery phase, only few hosts are act live and other are supposed down, then those hosts may not be in the same sequence like 4 to 10. There may be in zigzag. So still in that case you can specify the targets. So those IPs may be on the same network or different network. Same network or different network. So here 1.2.3.4 is on one network, 5.6.7.8 is on another network. And if you're finding the live host by using the F pings, that ping swapping, or H ping 3, okay, in that case you can find only the a list of targets which are available live host, which are whose list is there in this host.txt file. For that, nmap command followed by minus il, where l is the list, where l is the list of command, a list of hosts which are live. Another one is the domain specific. You can give the domain name. So nmap with domain name scanme.nmap.org by giving these names. Okay, is one way with just for target. Or so in this case, what happens? All these 65,535 ports will be scanned on every machine. If it is single machines, all those ports will be scanned. Okay, so by default, nmap, if any ports are not specifically given, then it scans the most common ports, that is the 1,000 most common ports are going to be scanned in this case by just giving only nmap and target IP address or your target domain names. So it takes much time. The scanning time will be increased in this. So how to reduce that scan time means, along with target IP addresses, if you provide the port number, then only that specific port, whether it is what is the status of that port, will be scanned by the nmap. So if Nmap runs in user privileges, Nmap requests the operating system on the source or pentester machine, and operating system will issue a system call, and that particular system call send as a request to the destination side. So, in terms of port, there is a single port scan, single IP address, and single port. So, for that, the switch is used minus P. Minus P is, uh, indicates, means informs the nmap that scan only 22nd port on the target 1.2.3.4, or sequential port scan can be there. So sequential port scan, that means you can give the range like from 20 to 30th port number. Or distributed, only in the distributed one you can give the specific port number separated with the commas. So nmap target, on that target you scan only the specified, the distributed ports only. And there is a service specific port scan. So instead of giving these port numbers, if the service name is given, so in this case nmap scans only 80, port number 80 or 8080 ports. If you give the, instead of http, if you give dns, it scans, nmap scans only the port number 53. Another one is protocol specific, nmap port scanning. That is, here you are giving that the nmap target IP address minus P, capital T hyphen your 22. That means use the TCP protocol to scan the 22 port number. Use the UDP protocol to scan the 53 protocol. They are the protocol specific. Right? Another one is, if you want to scan all the ports on the target machine, In that case, all the ports means all 65,535 ports. It gives minus P and target. Another way of finding the port is your Nmap target IP address and only the top ports, like top 100 ports or top 200 ports or top 10 ports. You can issue this command to scan those ports. So let us see this practically on Kali machine now. So let us come to the Kali machine. Let me just share the screen with you. Kali. Let me close this so that it will be visible to you. Yeah, here you can let us try all these, the Nmap port scanning on the Kali. For single IP, let us issue that Nmap. Okay, it'll give the Nmap. So first, let me just find out what is the IP address of the host. Suppose the host scanme.org, it will give us the IP address of the host. So we need the host IP address. So first, by doing the single IP with the target is 45 that there. So we give the nmap and the target machine address is 45.33.32. It is 156. By giving this, it scan the most common 1,000 ports on this particular target machine. So the starting nmap, the host seems down at this time, so it is really up, but blocking our ping probes means 5 minus pn. That means, if you use the minus pn means there is no need to do the discovery phase of this. So if you try this and check it out, what happens? So it is going to scan all the hosts which are live on this particular target. That is, we have seen that 146 hosts are up on this network, that 44.33.32.5. So here it is taking much time because nmap is going to scan all the ports. So instead of that, let me save the time, and here by giving the nmap and the target is suppose 10 dot, my target machine 10 dot 100 dot 141.2, a single one. So it is going to scan that. So the most means the most common 9,000 ports are scanned. Out of that, one port is open, that is 22, which is using the TCP service, and remaining 999 ports are the TCP ports are closed. So it got the response, that reset response got from those numbers, those hosts. So it is one. Another one is subnet range. So we may give the subnet range as nmap followed by the target, the IP address, and giving the subnet that only first 24 network bytes are used. Network bytes, first 3 bytes are used, and scan all the ports on this particular network. So then you try to scan all the ports, you will get the most common ports are scanned. So it finds that on this network, on this particular network, only one service is active, remaining 993 services are closed. Okay, so how many hosts are there means there are two hosts on this particular network which are alive now. One is 10.100.141.2 and another host is 10.100.141.1. So here it is giving the additional information about other host also. That is, you are having another machine that is 10.100.141.2 is running on the VMware machine, the virtual machine. So let us see the another command. Another way is by giving the nmap the IP range. So let us give this instead of the subnet, we'll give the IP range that 1 to suppose 50. By giving this IP range, you try to scan all the ports. Again, it finds in this particular network there are only two systems are there. Only two systems are alive. What is 141.1 and 141.2, and it is giving their details which service which port in this status table. You will get the port number and their state is open and service is SSH service. Another way of specifying the specific IP addresses, how it is the nmap by giving the specific IP addresses like one dot suppose 2, another one is 45 dot 33 dot 32 dot 156. By giving this, you can just check it out. There are two IP addresses, so both the hosts are up. We have given the two IP addresses, both are single. One is they are on different network now. One is on network 10.100.141. Another one is another network 45.33.32. On this network, the host is the target is 156 number target. Here is the target is 2 number machine. So here on this machine, it is only one service is there, whereas on the scan me host, there are most common 1,000 ports are scanned. Out of that, 192 ports are TCP ports are closed. For them, it got the response that reset or RST response is getting. So whereas in this port, the scan table, you can see that the port number 22, which is running on TCP service, is for connection establishment. TCP is used, which is open, and the service is SSH. Whereas another one is 42 TCP, which is filtered. So the name server is filtered means the host machine, our host machine, our nmap got the response like RST from there. Okay, only RST, there is no sign app. So to analyze this, and another one is the text files. So let me just show you that by giving the text file, nmap text file target, let me just use the command. So we have seen the cat host. Let us see who all the hosts are alive, which we have just seen. So let me just find out that who are the all the live hosts are they on the particular target machine. So let us just see how to do that without scanning the port. We just give the nmap and don't scan any ports on the machine, on the network, suppose 10 100.141.0 by giving suppose 24. So it tries to find and store all these live hosts into suppose the host.txt file. So it starts scanning all the hosts. Then check it out who all are the live over there. So you find that the cat host.txt. Yeah. Yeah. So here you can see here that only one or two hosts are there. They are up. Only two hosts are there. They are up. So you can write this by giving the host range. Uh, how you can give the host range here? Let me just find out. Right, the Nmap. Use the ping sweep and give the host address here. Let me just write the host for our example, like 10 dot 100 dot 141 dot 0 to the range 10 dot 100 dot 141 dot 254 and store in the host 1 suppose. Okay. 100.141 host. Okay. Sorry. Instead of giving ping, we must give the f ping so that all the live host will be stored in the host 1 file. So here by scanning all the live hosts in the entire network, which let us see how many hosts are live in the host. We have given host 1 file name. So there are only two hosts are there. So for this two host, let us, the file is created. So then use the nmap command with the switch minus I and give the list as because all the live host we have collected in host one file and just enter. So it try to scan all the ports, the most common 1,000 ports on these two live hosts is another way of scanning. Another one is nmap target by giving the instead of giving the IP address as in the command line, you may give the scan me domain and you can give the scan me dot nmap dot org. Just give the domain name. So again, there is only one IP address is up, and it scanned it's the common 1,000 ports, and it gives whether they are closed or filter. We talk about this closed filter and those things later. So this is the way of just giving the target. Another one is instead of going and scanning all these 1,000 common ports, if we give the specific ports whether those ports are open or not, that can be done in the way that by using the nmap command, give the target IP address, which is 45 dot to 33.32, which is the IP address of your scanme.org scanme.nmap.org. And for this single host, if I want to scan only one port, that is port number 22, whether it is open or not. So by just giving that, it will give you the single result that 22 port number is open and the service is SSH. if I want to check whether port number 139, whether it is open or not, so it will give us that okay, the network basics input output system is open, it is filtered, and only one scan is done here. Another one is by doing the sequential scan, as we discussed. To do the sequential scan or the sequential port number, we can give that nmap target IP address minus p with the sequence that we can give right from suppose 20th port number to suppose 400 port numbers, for example. So it is going to scan all the ports in the range of given 400. Out of that, the 373 ports are closed. Remaining ports are, where the ports are they. Sorry, all the 400 ports are scanned. Out of that, the active ports are listed in the table. Another way of doing the specific port scanning is distributed only or distributed port scanning. Here you can give that the distributed port, I want to check that whether port number 22, port number 139, and port number suppose 8888. So distributed one, whether these ports are, what is the status of these ports on the target machine. By just giving this, it will find the results of that. Their states is your first port 22 port is open, 139 port is filtered, 8888 port is closed. Another one is service specific port scanning. In service specific port scanning, we give the nmap, it's followed by the port. Instead of giving port numbers, you may give the service that whether http service is active or not. So it is going to scan to the http port, which is utilizing the service of your TCP to establish the connection with the target scan me service, or another port is 8080. Instead of that, if you give the command that HTTPS service is open or not, then the HTTP service, the port number 443 is closed. The service is HTTP. Or you may give the, if you don't know the port number of suppose a DNS, you can give the DNS port number here. So here it says that the it found no matches for the service mask your DNS, because here I why I want to mention that DNS, DHCP, they use the UDP protocol, so you need to specifically use the UDP switches that we will discuss in coming lecture, during the UDP scan. But another way is doing all port scan. So to do the all port scanning, we use the switch name, the target IP address, and the switch is minus P minus, which is going to scan all the ports like 65,535 ports on that target. So to scan all those ports, it is going to exchange more information. More packets are going to be exchanged in between your source and the destination. So that may leads to the crashing the system, right? So here you can see all the 65,535 ports scanned. Out of that, 65,497 ports are closed, and it gives only the TCP ports are given here, because by default Nmap use the TCP sign request packets to check. So only these packets are open. Remaining all the only these ports are open. Remaining all the ports are either closed ports or filtered ports or unfiltered ports or open or filtered or closed or filtered status are there. So this is the way of doing the port scanning. Okay, so this is the basic steps one can needs to understand. Or suppose if I wants to scan only the top 100 ports or top priority ports, like by giving the double dash, giving the top ports, the top ports of suppose 100 top ports, or let me just give the uh, 200 top ports suppose, then only the 200 top ports are going to be scanned. Out of that, 191 are closed TCP ports, and remaining are either open ports or filtered ports are there. Okay. So with this, we'd like to stop the session here. In the next session, we'll try to discuss the scan techniques.